All right. Okay. Our president of the commission didn't make it, so I'm going to fill in tonight. Welcome to the May meeting of the Port of Siuslaw regular commission meeting. First order of business is the public comment. This will be an opportunity for you to make any comments directed to the board. And we allow you 5 minutes to make your comments. And is there anybody, Kelly, that has signed up to address?
Maureen Miltenberger and Sandy Todd.
Okay, well, welcome. Oh, and thank you for getting to the podium. We've had times when people want to wander around. And we would prefer you address it from the
Someplace
podium.
to put our cheat sheet. Okay, I'm Maureen Miltenberger. This is Sandy Todd. We're the co-chair people of the Siuslaw Climate Alliance. And this year we put on our second Earth Day celebration. We had a very large committee that the port actually allowed us to use this room for our very rowdy committee. So we want to thank you for that. But we wanted to thank you for letting us use the boardwalk out there and the beautiful preparation that happened right before it. We saw people out there working and getting it all great for us. And we actually got to use the electricity this year as well. So we just wanted to really come and thank you for allowing us to do that. This year our theme was Protect Our Species. We had over 20 participants and some entertainment, dancers and bands and that kind of thing. But the participation and the enthusiasm that people come to the events like this in this town, people really, really appreciate it when they can come up. We had a lot of local people coming through. We had a lot of people that were coming down to Old Town, go, oh, what are you doing over there? Lots of good questions and lots of great participation. The other thing that we got this year, more so than last, was really excellent coverage on both of the radio stations, coverage through the newspaper. So we just wanted to really come and thank you for allowing us to do that. And I hope you can help us again next year. We would really appreciate it though, if you could make it so that it was at least 65 or 70 degrees. We froze this year. We're not
The hula
complaining.
dancers got a little
We're
cold.
just mentioning that it got a little
they did.
chilly. So again, we just wanted to thank you for allowing us to use your space and being rowdy in this room.
Yeah, that will do. She's
Well,
always-
well, we as a commission like to believe we have lots of power, but I don't think we're gonna have power over the weather, but thank you for the,
Just
and
give it a
I
try.
appreciate your presentation and your participation very much.
Thank you. Well, we just want to let you know, we did have Mother Nature participated again this year, and we asked her to please adjust the weather, and she couldn't do it either, so. Wouldn't feel so bad.
Thank you very much. Kelly, was there a second individual? Those are the two, okay, thank you very much. All right, are there any additions to the agenda? Otherwise, I'm looking for a approval by consent.
Yeah, I don't have any changes.
Okay, then the agenda is approved by consent. Approval of the minutes by consent. Any additions or corrections to the minutes of the 4/17 regular meeting?
Not by me.
Okay, not hearing any modifications or changes. It is approved by consent. Approval of financials. Kelly, do you have any comments relative to this at this point?
Yes, so the bills paid for April were $55,304.57. The occupancy for the campground was up 7%, and mortgage was down 1% year-to-date. We did receive $21,500 from Business Oregon on the sea erosion, and had received $64,530.04 from FEMA on April 25th.
Kelly, on the C-roll reimbursement, have we almost completed the, or there are still some bills outstanding that,
The
or
vegetation bill
payments? Yeah,
is still out there.
okay,
I haven't got the actual invoice from Watershed on that,
okay,
and I know they have to do some more when the weather allows for certain planting.
okay.
And I think that is about it.
Can we get all the FEMA stuff? Is that the same thing you're asking?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, because there are two different things right there, but the FEMA was 85,000 at one time.
Well, that's two different payments, one of them from Business Oregon on their 25% end of it, so.
Gotcha.
So we have a couple stragglers, but it's mainly the vegetation stuff.
Yeah, because they can't plant only certain times of year.
Right.
Yeah, so we're waiting on the grass.
Right.
And I think that total bill is gonna be less than 2,500, yeah, something like that. It wasn't a lot of what they're doing back there.
Now, our price increases for camping went in the 1st of May. What kind of feedback are we getting on that from?
None that I know of.
Haven't heard nothing negative.
And obviously, it hasn't reflected in our participation because we're up, is what I'm seeing here.
Correct.
Does the commission have any other questions of Kelly relative to that? Okay. Then our next order of business is a presentation to the United States Coast Guard. And I have a proclamation that I am going to read into the record. We have representatives from the Coast Guard here.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Let's see how we want to do this. Why don't you, let's see.
I can get right up
Yeah,
here.
why don't you come right up here
Okay.
and well, why don't you introduce yourself to the, first of all, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I apologize it's taken this long for me to see some of your faces. My name is Jay Nellis. I'm the Senior Chief Officer in charge of the station here. Reported in and took command the 1st of June last year.
Okay.
So it's been a little while since we've gotten to cross paths and get up here and see some names and faces up here. But
Yeah.
appreciate you having us, and we've had a long-standing partnership with the port and the community, and we receive a great amount of praise for the work we do here, and it's an honor to be here. So.
Okay, good. Well, let me read this into the record. For nearly 100 million Americans, boating continues to be a popular recreational activity. From coast to coast and everywhere in between, people are taking to the water and enjoying time together, boating, sailing, paddling, and fishing. During National Safe Boating Week, the U.S. Coast Guard and its federal, state, and local safe boating partners encourage all boaters to explore and enjoy America's beautiful water responsibilities. Safe boating begins with preparation. The Coast Guard estimates that human error accounts for 70% of all boating accidents, and that life jackets could prevent nearly 85% of boating fatalities. Though basic boating safety procedures, carrying life-saving emergency distress and communication equipment, wearing life jackets, attending safe boating courses, participating in free boat safety checks, and staying sober when navigating, we can help ensure boaters on American coastal, inland, offshore waters stay safe throughout the season. National Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to important life-saving tips for recreational boaters so that they can be a safer, more fun experience out on the water throughout the year. Whereas, on average, 650 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the U.S. 76% of these are fatalities caused by drowning. And whereas, the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today had they worn their life jackets. Whereas the United States Coast Guard encourages boating professionals and boating enthusiasts to have a safe boating season by following the rules of the water. Therefore, the Port of Siuslaw Board of Commissioners and the Port of Siuslaw do hereby support the goals of the Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim May 18th to 24th, 2019 as National Safe Boating Week and the start of a year-round effort to promote safe boating. In witness thereof, we urge all those who boat to practice safe boating habits, and wear a life jacket at all times while boating. That is the proclamation.
Thank you.
In fact, we're gonna have the president of the commission sign this and deliver it to you.
Outstanding.
He's off somewhere, we know, he's probably boating somewhere.
Can we all shake your hand?
Absolutely.
Thanks for your
Thank you,
service.
thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Can we get him?
It's our
Let him
pleasure.
get all of it.
It's our,
Yeah,
let's get us all together.
How would
And
we,
I'll come over by
come
mine.
around by the
Yeah.
flag? I hate to be
Yeah,
put you
that would
guys
be
out.
great.
That'd be
Go ahead.
great.
Yeah, why don't you get in the center there, we'll surround you.
I'm behind you.
I know that.
Get in here.
We need the flag.
There we go. Now where's our flag?
Here, we'll-
Where's our
we'll block it.
proclamation? Who's got the proclamation?
Can,
Hold the proclamation right there.
okay, yes,
Thank you
yes,
very
yes,
much.
yes.
That's perfect.
Make it bigger, would you?
Okay, everybody look at me, please. And then one in case I mess up. Thank you very much.
One more, one more.
Thank you, sir.
We got, looks like we got one more.
Okay, here we go. There,
Gorgonzola.
Gorgonzola.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
thank
problem,
you.
no problem. It's good to be here.
Thank you. And it's
I don't know what you guys do for us.
Oh, nice to meet you. It's good to be here.
I know, right?
I know we're busy with the bar and, you know, the dredging keeps us open, so that's a good, it's always a good thing to have. You know,
Now-
we end
now
up with a
you're-
lot of bar restrictions. We monitor that bar very closely every few hours to make sure we can get people in, get people out, and keep them safe. But, you know, this port it's important for us. The more recreational boating traffic that we can allow to get across that bar safely, it's better for the port, it's better for the community, and it's gonna bring people in to boat here. So that's one of the things that we've really tried to push, is to keep that bar monitored as closely we can. When we do have to enforce restrictions, we keep them at the most minimal level to allow the boaters to get in and out. So it's a big push for us.
We appreciate that.
No kidding. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you have to go out and save somebody, we don't mind if you can either stick around and witness the rest of our meeting, or you can, won't offend us if you have to leave.
I appreciate it, thank you. I'm off to deal with a couple personnel matters that we're still dealing with this evening, but part of the job,
Well,
so,
we-
but I appreciate it. And you all
Okay.
are welcome to stop by the station anytime, come visit, and if you haven't had a tour, come by, take a tour.
Oh, that's
and,
great.
say
So
hi.
are you guys, at Safe Boating Week, are you doing free, I haven't been keeping up, are you doing free inspection? boat
So our
inspection?
partnership with the Coast Guard Auxiliary, they are our #1 resource and our A-team to go to for our getting those safe boating inspections done. And these three gentlemen here are very proactive in that system and making those happen, so.
Can you introduce those three gentlemen? I'm sorry, we should,
Brad, you want to introduce your team?
yeah.
This is Bob Redfern, who actually heads up our vessel exam section. This is Jonathan Yoder, who does our publications, and I'm Brad Hoover, the vice commander this year of the Erie Force.
Well, it's nice to see you
And
here.
watchstander extraordinaire.
Well, we appreciate you being here tonight, and we want to recognize you for your effort in our community. We
Thank
certainly
you, Kelly,
appreciate
for putting
it.
this proclamation together.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you on the water.
Right.
Maybe not you, but the boys and
Trust me,
girls.
I would rather be out there.
I bet,
Than
I
in the
bet.
office.
All right, let's see, the next item on the agenda is the trash request for proposal. That's tab 7. What have we got going there?
We have two proposals, one from Central Coast Disposal, and I think Dave Twomley is here, and he'd like to speak on behalf of
That's
his
fine.
proposal.
Yeah,
Good,
thank
he's
you.
gonna assume the podium. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I took the hint on the assume the podium, and I said I'm gonna run with that.
We had an issue a couple of meetings ago,
So, anyway, I wanted to point some things out, and it's, when it comes down to my proposal, there's a lot of ordinances, and a lot of resolutions that have passed. I've been here doing it for a long time, so I'm really in tune with those. And my proposal meets all of city code. However, the other proposal you received is not, and I verified that today, it is not compliant with city code, so it cannot be completed as proposed. I can give you the resolutions if you desire to see them and point out where their failure is on the resolution.
Yeah, we might as well.
Yeah, so if you, pass them around. And they do get, oh, if they don't have enough, I have a few more here. I'm gonna keep one.
Yeah.
Here you go, Dave. So under your 65-gallon carts that are at the fish cleaning stations, you'll see that he bid them.
Hang on,
or
where
what-
are you? Where are you?
I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna count the
Line 5
pages.
on CTR.
So on CTRs, if you go to the amount that he bid the fish cleaning stations at, twice, two for, at $26 is what he bid those at.
Yeah, that's what it says.
So that's under the multifamily, single bill, single stop category, which is on page 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know it's small because the city, this is what they have for me to print out. So if you go down the left-hand side where it says residential, and you go to MF, SB, SS, and you go to the 60-gallon cart, and you go over to the gray area, it's where the quote was made at $26 a dump. Am I, everybody following along on me, fourth page?
So it is,
Exhibit A.
is that says Exhibit A, is that what we're talking
Yes, sir, it says Exhibit A.
about? Okay, and we're down at what line?
Okay, so the first blackened thing says MFSBSS,
I see it.
which stands for multifamily, single bill, single stop.
Okay, and it has 35 to 90 gallons in the,
Right, and you guys at the fish cleaning station use 60-gallon carts,
okay?
and you were quoted out at $26. However, that is not recognized as a multifamily location, there's no families there. So it's actually recognized as a commercial cart. So if you follow down to the rest of the page where it says commercial cart, you'll see that a 60-gallon commercial cart picked up weekly is $33.90.
Okay,
And that's what the city's going to require them to charge you.
okay.
So that's the only difference in the bid that I noted. However, go ahead.
So you're looking at the county transfer recycling bid, and it's bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
Right,
down.
so if you go-
That $26 should really be $33.50,
$33.90.
$33.90.
Yes.
Yeah, got it, yeah.
Yep, and that's on both levels, so when you go down on the next one where it says monthly service of 8 65-gallon containers twice a week, he quoted out as $52 each, because it's being picked up twice a week. And in actuality, it's $33.90 times 2, which is $67.80. So, and if you look at my bids, those reflect correctly. Now, if you go back to the paperwork I passed out to you, you'll see that if you go back to page 2 on resolution section 4, on page 2 on section 4,
Okay.
your bid, the bid, when the contract is entered into, it has to be submitted to the city within 30 days. And if you can't, then if it's not in compliance, the city will not allow them to follow that. So, there is catches, there's checks and balances in the system. So, I'm proposing, since the bid cannot be honored, that it not be recognized. Now, moving on beyond that, there's a couple things that I will boast for me being a locally owned company. All of my endeavors occur right inside the Port District. None of my bills, none of my checks get mailed to Texas. They're all right here. So under the ports, and I don't have it memorized, but the ports has some fancy, this is what our mission is. Our mission is to expand and invest in our community, so that knowing that when it comes to the money, it is all invested into a company that works 100% inside of the Port District. I don't operate anywhere out of the Port District. I'm fortunate, I have 3 businesses inside the Port District as well. So I have an olive shop and a sock store. That also being said, I've picked up garbage at the port I don't presently have it now, but I've been picking up garbage in Florence since June of '91. And with the exception of 7 years, I've picked up the port's garbage that entire time. So I do know the port and I work well with the staff. I know Jason well that works out there. He and I have a good communication, a good rapport. And I can be got a hold of any day of the week. My phone number's in the phone book, still under Twombly, and I'm only Twombly in the phone book, and I will answer the phone.
How many employees do you have?
I have 14 employees at the garbage company and 8 employees on the other 2 businesses
Can
total.
you tell me what odor surrender means?
Odor surrender?
Yeah.
That was on,
is?
that was
That's
on my
what-
bid. That was on,
I
I'm Brian,
understand.
County
Yeah,
Transfer. I
understand.
so
I just wanna
we-
know what odor surrender.
I mean,
You know what it is?
it actually makes it, it's kind of like Febreze in your house.
Okay,
I
my-
use a product called Nix.
I got a big concern about the stench out there.
Sure.
How does that, how do we, what do you do to help reduce that?
So I understand historically they haven't been taken away once a week. So it was in a request. I talked to Jason about that. They said, yeah, we'll take them once a week, clean them, we'll bring them back. There's, like I said, there's a product we use called Nix. And it's the same concept as Febreze, it neutralizes. However, you know, if you're a fisherman, you know it doesn't take very long for the smell to come back. So it will reduce the odors, but it won't eliminate the odors, because you can't. Because when somebody throws a dead shad in there after they're done crabbing, it's gonna smell. So I won't try to mislead you or mystify it, but I can eliminate the odors when the cart is brought back or swapped out from cleaning. But the odor is only eliminated until something's placed
You
into
can
that grease.
significantly reduce it by keeping it clean and
Absolutely.
treating it.
And
on a regular basis.
I put that in the bid, that's not at a charge, we'll exchange them once a week, and if it gets worse than that, all the port has to do is call me and say, we gotta work it out some more.
Picking up once a week,
Thank you.
sometimes that will not get it.
Oh, no,
Not
it's-
in peak season, it would be twice or as
Oh.
needed.
Right, or as needed,
We
we're talking
know
about,
that. I mean,
we're
when
talking
you
about
go all
exchanging.
you're crabbing and everything, I mean, I'll tell you what, it smells so bad out there that, yeah.
I'm talking about exchanging the carts, cleaning them once a week. They'll be dumped more frequently than once a week.
Thank you.
Yep. Is there any other questions I can answer? All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you. The CTR, did you want to make a
Yes, if
presentation?
that's okay, I'd like to.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, my name is Brian, and if I misinterpreted the multi-resident, single bill, single stop compared to commercial, I do apologize. I do believe the city would be open to discussion on that. My goal for all my customers is to get the lowest possible rate. The port has been in our top 3 largest customers for the last several years. And I would definitely be open, and I think the city would be open to discussions about this. You do have full hookups, people do reside here, and my main thing is it's a single stop, which saves my company fuel, it saves my company labor and time, and I want to be able to pass that rate on to the port. And I did talk to somebody at the city who did say the city would be open to discussions about that. I would go to bat and try and get you the best possible rate and see if I can push that through. Otherwise, it would, I guess, have to be commercial if they deemed that it is a commercial stop. But these rates were put together because for the garbage companies. If it's a multi-stop situation, it costs us more fuel, more time, more labor. The fact that these fish carts are a single stop, I don't want to have to charge you the top premium rate of commercial rate. I'd rather be able to charge you the single bill, single stop rate, which is what I put it in that bid. And I do believe can be interpreted in different ways. That's the way I interpreted it. I do apologize if I was inaccurate with that.
You know, we're talking about peak season, when the crabbing and the fishing and everything gets going.
Yeah, so I did put in there, I know from servicing the port that the fish carts, the odor is an issue. So definitely, same thing, when we swap them out, we would swap them out with clean carts. We pressure wash them, and then we would put the odor surrender in the cart to help with the odor. Fully committed to doing that. Also, anytime you called, if it was, anytime you call and say that the carts need to be swapped out, we'll do it immediately. Like I said, the port is a very big customer for us, a very important customer, and we're very happy to have been able to service the port and want to continue that relationship going forward.
Dave? Do you have any recommendation or anything on this?
I've only been here about 1 year and 3 months now, so that's as long as I've dealt with CTR, and so I've gone as far as asking staff, and every single person as far as staff is recommending Central Coast Disposal.
In terms of the total amounts, other than the the one differential on the 60, are they apples to apples?
The city sets the rates, so competition
Okay.
is, they don't, the rates are set rate, we have no variance. So
Okay.
it's competition is on service.
Okay, all right.
Say that again.
That's in terms of
I
price
don't
as
hear
well.
well sometimes.
The city sets garbage rates, that's, because we're a utility, it's the same rate regardless of which company. The intention of the city was to make competition about service, not about price. So our price is going to be the same.
Okay, so what,
Go ahead. No, go
what happens, sorry, what, the only difference would be, we gave the specs right on the containers, the requirement.
Yep.
So if that's the case, then the price is identical. The price is, period, is identical. Because we gave the number of containers, the type of service we require, period. So there is no difference. There should not be a difference in price according to the, whatever your franchise fees and, you know, whatever that says.
Other than debating
Whether or not there's an
definition of term.
interpretation that's
Yeah.
different.
As being residential or commercial, because the city sets the price.
Well, okay, then I find myself, if it's a situation relative to the service provided, and since I have no experience, I've got to go by a recommendation from the staff, is what I.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, whoever's doing it right now, I mean, sometimes when we get in June, July, and August, when we start getting all the crab in here and all these people in here, sometimes that stuff sits there for 2 or 3 days, because I'm here all the time. I fish out of this port. And it is very rank, especially for the people that live upstairs.
Yeah, we dump them every Tuesday morning and every
Well,
Friday,
I
Friday morning.
think, sometimes there's not enough, I don't know if it's the staff that's not doing it, or we don't have enough, the big plastic one out here helped a lot, and now we've got this cleaning station over here, but we've gotta have service. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes around here, you guys know that, you live here.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well,
there-
let's ask about that. Is there
Yeah.
a differential in collection time and collection period and frequency of collection? Or is that apples to apples again?
It's what the port instructs.
Whatever you want, yeah.
So when I did it in the past, we actually didn't have as many receptacles, we did it 7 days a week.
Okay.
So you
It
didn't have.
should be done 7 days a week.
We did, that's how we used to do it, and this goes back before I lost the contract due to the fact that porta potties was included in the bid. So porta potties aren't included in the bid anymore, so it's apples to apples, but historically, and I misspoke, we did it 6 days a week, we didn't do it on Sundays. So we did it 6 days a week, and we didn't have near as many receptacles, but the price ended up being the same because it's how many times it gets dumped is what you're billed on.
Okay, now is that also regulated by the city or is just the charge per can? And we have to request how many pickups we need for our particular application?
That's correct, it's charged per can, via your request, you get billed upon what you request.
Okay.
So if you have a garbage can that's picked up, you have 8 of them picked up in a week, you could have 1 of them picked up 8 times and it's exactly the same price. So if you said, I want my frequency to be, okay, I want my frequency to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and it 2 carts, then it's exactly the same price as 8 carts picked up, 4 carts picked up on Tuesday, 4 carts picked up on Friday, it reduces order.
And both these quotes are based on the schedule that the port should.
Yes.
So to the point made about the stinky, that may come down to we need to pay for and request additional pickups.
Extra dump,
Right,
yeah.
well, the thing about it is the Friday, we need the Friday, Saturday, Sunday pickup. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday pickup, because, I mean, the Monday, Tuesday, we don't have fishermen out.
I have a truck out on Sunday, I can do it.
But that's something that we may need to take up with David, and this can be adjusted, either party that we choose, this can be adjusted mid-course as we see what we need, and then if we have more pickups, then the price is based on the increased. Okay, understand.
Can I say, yeah, the way we've been doing it is that our customer service department would receive a phone call from the port for any special deliveries of extra carts or special pickups that are needed outside of what's set in the contract. And so
Okay, but how much does that cost per?
it's based on the city rate, so
Whatever it is.
$52.50,
Yeah.
$52
That
every
is-
time an extra can is picked up.
No, that's for 865.
That's a monthly
Depend-
rate.
that's- Yeah, so basically, the rates are set by the city, and so you'd be charged whatever the rate is.
Right, but
If it was a-
you guys know as well as I do, sometimes we're out here and we got all 8 carts are full. What does it cost the port to Dave to call, or Kelly to call, or Jason to call?
It's
How much-
prorated. It's prorated. It's
Okay.
prorated, so you do the math and say, okay, if you, 4 carts is the same as 1 cart monthly, so it would be $33.90 if you dump 4 carts. And, David, we're looking for, this is an action item, we need to make a decision tonight to award.
Is for Dave.
Okay. Why don't we do this, because we can have a discussion after a motion second. Is anybody ready to introduce a motion in terms of selecting between these 2 parties?
I would make a motion that we go with staff recommendation of Central Coast Disposal.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, any additional discussion at this point on the motion? Motion on the floor is to select, and clarification, this is for this 1-year period.
No, it's 3 years.
It's a 3-year contract.
Okay.
3 years.
Pardon me, okay, so this is for a 3-year period. Okay, any additional comments on the motion?
When does it start?
7/1.
July 1st.
7/1.
Yep.
And you'll be flexible if we need you to be picking stuff up if things stink and.
Absolutely. Hearing no additional comments, I'll call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passed by vote of all, yes, affirmative vote of all commissioners present. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And it was not, it's tough to make I'm sure both of you guys the organizations do a wonderful job.
For the benefit of our company, would you care to share why the staff made the recommendation, or what we can improve on in the future? or-
Yeah, if you want to come into the office one day
Sure.
and we can talk about it, but
Okay.
I'd rather not say it at this time.
Sure, thanks.
Okay.
Again, okay, thank you, gentlemen. You can stick around, or you can, be no offense to us. And in fact, we're getting ready to wrap up. Okay.
Thank you for your business over the last 3
Okay,
years.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are now bid 0. Huntington, your name is listed.
The other thing is the reconstruction.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, we do.
Behind the trash.
Is that the next item on there?
Yeah, we're on item 8, bids on the 0.
Bids on the 0.
Yeah, so those are the electrical bids. You'll see that there's 3 electrical bids for Zero in there, and I think that the estimate for the Lowe's Walk, they got put in there too, so.
What tab are you looking at?
But all we're looking at right now, 8 behind tab 8. All we're looking at for this item is the electrical bids for Zero.
Do you have a recommendation, Dave?
I'm recommending the low bid, Reese Electric.
I do have a question.
Jump in there.
So, Reese is low. Reese doesn't include conduit installation, trenching, excavation, pedestals installed.
None of these contracts are including trenching, conduit.
Who's gonna do that?
So,
We're not at that point right now.
I thought that.
He's not ready to discuss that.
Yeah, well, we've gotta discuss it.
I know,
Oh,
okay.
we will. And I don't have all the bids for the excavation of this,
Okay.
and it's the trenching.
but I guess my question is, and I'm not an electrician, so I don't get the lingo, but, I mean, it's pretty clear that it's not covered in Reese's. And then when I read Ladd's, it's got mounted to a backboard furnished by the port. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with pedestals, does it?
No.
Because that's what
the
they
port-
refer to in this one.
The port is furnishing pedestals. All these electrical contractors are gonna come in and do is put in the wire and hook up to the pedestals we're putting the backboard up.
So all of them are quoting the same thing,
Yeah, they're all quoting the same thing. They may look a little bit different.
the same
but it's-
activity.
So Ladd isn't putting conduit in when Reese has it excluded? Okay, that's, it just, I don't know, I'm not sure how to read it.
Well, you can see that, I know, and we've been on the phone almost every day with each contractor, making sure that they're bidding on the same project.
Yeah, because see, when I look at LAD, excuse me, I was looking at Reese, and it says provide and install an 800 amp service to serve
Yeah.
30 RV pedestals. But when I look over here at who is it, CFE?
Yeah, that's the one I was
They
referring
talk
to,
about
actually.
provide and install 3 400 amp metered services.
And so we'd have 3 meters instead of actual PD meters,
Uh-huh.
and in that section, and that's the difference in theirs. But
And what
Okay,
would
so-
we have with provide and install an 800 amp?
we would have
One meter?
one 800 amp meter instead of 3 meters.
So we're getting more, we'd have, I mean, would we have, that's where that's, because I'm not an electrician either. So I
But
look
there's
at,
also a billing issue, Mike, because every meter has a minimum
Yeah.
delivery
Yeah.
charge associated with that meter.
but what happens, Bill, would that give us more flexibility to have 3 400s? I mean, I don't know,
Can't
you
have
know,
that.
if you,
3/400s as opposed to 1/800?
1/800?
Absolutely, for future.
and they'd be in the 1/800 be in one spot, the 3 4, I didn't,
Yeah, it would, in
Be in
terms of
different
futuring,
places.
it would give you more flexibility with the individual 400 meter. And you would probably always, you're gonna have a base charge that's gonna show up on each meter, but like $29.
so it wouldn't be 3 times, well, it wouldn't be, the 800 would be a base charge, but it would be greater than $29.
I think so, and I don't know what that is. I just know I recently, when I, on my building there, and I had the 2 meters installed and saw the,
Are we gonna have a meter base in each one of them, or
Well,
just a pedestal?
what would happen with the 3 400 amp meters? That would allow us, if we had a problem with our electrical, to isolate each spot.
You wouldn't
instead
have
of-
single point
Instead of
failure.
having to shut the whole.
Right, no, I understand that, yeah.
But we could feed off of one of those 3 into something hypothetically,
Yeah.
something else in
Right.
future expansion, as opposed to the 800 located wherever
One
it would be
place.
located.
So
Yeah,
that's it.
doesn't that make sense? So,
yeah.
Well, you gotta split it up. There's nobody engineering, I think these guys are engineering themselves.
Mhm.
So which,
These guys
Yeah,
are,
they include the backboard, and we gave each of them the same specs. They've talked to PD, they've talked to, was the guy over the inspector, they've talked to the inspector about the whole project,
And you work with
And-
Troy in engineering on Lincoln?
okay, but we're not gonna have, each pedestal at each side is not gonna have a meter base on it.
no.
no.
So if you're gonna have somebody who wants to live here year-round, they'll have to be someplace else.
Yeah, we don't allow year-round.
Okay, that's all I'm asking. So what's the longevity, 21 days?
6 months.
Okay,
But the spec you gave them was the total demand on the various pedestals. And then they determined how they're going to supply that, either with the 1/800 or with the 3 400s.
Yep, by talking to the engineer.
Okay. Well, I personally like, I think the 3 400 gives us more flexibility, if you want mine.
yeah.
And,
When I go 3 400, that's 1200 amps overall, as
Yeah,
opposed to
he's-
800.
They're the only ones
Yeah.
that I recommended the 1200 amps.
yeah, well, and.
But what did we recommend, what did we specify?
The
They-
engineer had told us 800,
Okay.
and so that's what everybody was going off of, was the 800 amp.
To supply all the pedestals we identified,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
the
it-
engineer didn't say how that was delivered. It could,
Right. And if we wanna do more, the more power you can get right now, the 3 400 or whatever you're saying, it'd
can
be better than
expand.
doing it again.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's under the one that's.
That's underneath Reese.
And that was a low
CFE.
bid.
That's CFE,
Right. CFE LLC.
and
whatever that-
CFE, he did come in and have a meeting with us, and he knows RV parks. I can tell you that. He does know what he's talking about.
So from a service standpoint, we're getting 1,200 amps versus 800 amps, which is
Mhm.
25% more, right?
Right.
So if you do the quick math on it, and you do 25% of 30, you get what? 7,000, 8,000?
Yeah, the problem is,
I mean,
the problem
depends on what we want.
is,
3 meters. I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
We need,
Well, yeah, and it may not, because you'd have to see what they charge you for a meter base, for the 800, because some of it's based on anticipated load. So it may not be much difference between 3 400s, probably a little more, than 1 800. But it's not gonna be a deal breaker either way.
but we specified 800.
No, we didn't really. All we
Okay.
specified was what the total loads were gonna be out there by the total number of hookups. And then the engineers said, yeah, you could do that with 800, or you could do it with 3 400s. But we didn't specify whether it was gonna be a single delivery point of 800 or multiple
Oh,
delivery
no,
points.
no, right, I understand, it's just that, I mean, the thing is nobody else, I mean, I'm interested in not one site, but if we're gonna take an 800, I'm interested in 2 sites.
Yeah.
But I never considered 3 sites, 3 different places.
I
Now,
think
we
that-
got a $7,000, $8,000 difference in price between the two. And so I keep wondering, are they all bidding on 800, cause we're getting an extra 400? Amps.
They get the calculations from the engineer at PUD.
Right.
Now, they can come up with their own way of doing this. as long
Mixing
as
and
they're-
matching
yeah,
to
as
deliver
long
the,
as they're
to
using
deliver the total
the
watts.
calculations that the engineer is giving them, and I don't understand it. I mean,
Well, just read, each of the 3 400 amp servers will supply 10, 50, 30, 20 amps per RV sites,
Yeah, no, I saw that.
times 3. So that's 30. Is that
And that's
correct?
what we're asking for, that's
Right.
that's what we want. So
So
they're
that'd be
saying it's
30
gonna take,
sites.
they're gonna say it's gonna take 400 per 10.
Right.
And the rest of them are, they're not
They're not
approaching
quoting
it that way.
Right.
So it's a matter of who we have the confidence in terms of,
Well, this guy's telling you exactly what it's doing. I mean, that's all I'm getting.
And somebody may be doing us a favor in terms of anticipating future.
Well, the thing about it is Bill, we'll have 40, we'll have 40 sites
Well,
available.
Yeah.
what we mean by
See what I'm saying?
by 30 sites here, this is just for C-row, but because we're putting in a new transformer, we have to upgrade B-row at the
Right.
same time,
So how much is B-roll then?
so
well,
they'll just,
that's where you're getting the 30 sites at, with everybody,
Right, but if you take down the blue buildings, how many more you want there?
there'll be 16.
Will it cover it? Plus the new shop?
Well, that's our next, that's what we've been working on next. This is just C-row is what we're talking about right now. But with adding the new transformer and what we're doing, we actually have to disconnect B-row. And because of code changes now since 2009, when you re-hook up, it means we have to upgrade new wire to all of B-row at the same time. That's why it's saying 30 sites on there.
That's why David has.
Oh,
this
it's
here,
not
right?
30 brand new ones.
No.
no, this is old ones and, no, this
This
is.
is-
You only get is 10 new ones.
Yeah.
No, we're getting 18 new ones, and
Oh.
we're just,
Reconnected.
And these guys will be,
Apples to oranges,
upgrading 12 sites on
In
B-row
a sense,
Oh,
aren't we?
okay.
with new wire.
and these will be 200 amp service panels for each
Right.
set. And I'm assuming that the 800s will be 2 or 4 200 amps.
Which is
So
each
how they're,
200 amp
how they're
panel.
doing their calculations as far as carrying the 50, 30, and 20 amp combo, these guys are apparently making a calculation that
Oh,
is
yeah.
requiring,
Well, distance,
There's
electrical, I mean, the
there's a
longer the
cookbook
reach.
calculation,
Yeah,
and one of them is delivering a little more than a minimum. Obviously, the 3 400 is gonna be delivering more than the minimum. But let me tell you a little story about electrical bids on my new project. I had a bid come in at 33,000 for my building, and I started shopping it, and my final cost is gonna be in the order of 9,000. So it depends on how hungry these guys are and how much profit they expect to make, so you're gonna see.
Bill, that's just one building though.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but I'm saying.
One building at 220.
You're
you got
looking at the
440, you know,
I'm
yeah.
talking about the variation in the
Yeah.
bid.
Right, we understand that.
We've shopped it quite a bit, and I can tell you that.
Begin with, we're not
that
shopping, we're going out for bids.
CFE and Reese have spent a lot of time here. They've spent a lot of time here helping out with this.
And we do not have to take the lowest bid on
We do
something.
not, no, we
Okay.
do not.
But right now, you're recommending, let me make sure I understand, you're recommending Reese, right?
No,
Because of
oh, you're
the price.
Yeah, price, but we're also
And now
going,
now that you point a few things out,
I think this guy right.
The biggest concern I have is whatever we do, we have to make sure that we can build off it
yeah,
and grow
That's it,
off it.
that's it.
Because to reinvent the wheel in 5 years when we decide to do something tricky or expand, it's gonna cost a tremendous amount of money to,
you want a future as much as you
Yeah.
can do it. Yeah.
and I don't know much about electrical, but it seems to me the one with more amperage
Yeah,
is kind of maybe a no-brainer, not a no-brainer, it's
No, it is.
it's money,
It-
but I would just hate to see us do what we just need right now,
no,
only to find out down the road that we need to expand it and we have to put new service in to do that.
no, you're exactly right. Yeah, you wanna have capacity
Yeah.
more than you require right now, so, because we intend to grow.
We might have a couple ice machines down here
Yeah,
someday.
well,
Got it, we already get rid of one.
don't get anybody excited now.
It won't
He didn't
work.
hear that, Bill, just.
I heard it.
That's 30 amps, so we're okay.
No, we got 440 over there now, finally.
So the CFE, I'm trying to look, do they include are they gonna get the permits for us?
yes, permits are included, and they include the backboard, and we don't have to do
Okay.
anything.
That's where your 9,000.
They also had a trenching proposal also, but
Not tonight, though.
not tonight.
Well, not tonight, but now, wait a minute. We've gotta have this all figured out.
Well, we're gonna have to call
The-
a special meeting because we're waiting on another bid. for
Okay, but
trenching.
no, one thing about trenching,
Mhm.
when you put power and water in the same trench, it's gotta be a separation.
There's gonna be two trenches.
Right,
Yeah.
so, we've gotta have somebody out here, we've gotta have a proposal for somebody trenching.
Yeah, that's what we.
And
The
that's.
water and sewer can go in one trench, power's gotta go in another trench, but you gotta have a separation, either height or lower. I've done it all my life.
Yep,
Yeah.
no, that's how.
So, how are we gonna make a decision without trenching?
Well, we're gonna make a decision on the amount of electricity we're delivering and how. And then down the road, we have a separate figure that we're gonna act on in terms of the trenching cost. I mean, the two are, you can bifurcate them, the two are separate decisions.
But you were just saying that,
They're,
see,
they,
this,
they will have a trenching proposal for us.
And we may not accept theirs.
Yep.
We don't know what they are yet.
But right now, we're deciding on what's the structure of the electrical, what we're putting in and.
well, I
like-
understand that, but how can you accept something without a completed project?
Well, yeah, the trenching is gonna complete the project, but you.
You gotta trench it before you can put electrical in.
Well, you're talking about getting the thing installed, I agree, but we can make a decision on who we want to do the
We're
electrical.
going backwards on this. Why don't we have a trenching involved at the same time?
Because you don't need to. I mean, I understand,
How are you gonna, what are you gonna do without electrical? You gotta have water and sewer in these same things, Bill.
I know, but that isn't part of the decision.
We're going against the grain on this thing.
Yeah, but that isn't, yeah. But you don't have to make that decision. You can make the decision tonight on how you're gonna structure the electrical. and then they come back, then the installation.
Now, wait a minute, how can you do that when all of a sudden say, okay, say A got the bid, okay?
All right.
Okay, he thinks he's gonna have this done by July, and then it's another month and another year and a half before it's all done. You can't do that because the cost, everything goes up.
Well, what
You've gotta have everything at one time.
Oh, what, yeah.
What we did in the beginning, Craig, when we first started this project.
I understand it.
We were gonna do the trenching ourselves.
I understand that.
And now we've decided that possibly we're not gonna do the trenching ourselves. And we'll still be in the ballpark with,
Well, the way I understand this whole thing, I mean, if you do the trenching, the water, the sewer and everything, I mean, it could be 5 foot wide, you could have 2 foot wide, or one trench over here, 1 foot wide.
But none of
I
that
mean,
affects.
but, now, wait a minute, everything underneath $50,000 doesn't have to be,
Little Davis Bacon.
vacant.
you fall into the Davis Bacon.
Right.
Once you get exceed $50,000.
Okay, when are you gonna go out for bid on the rest of this stuff?
I was gonna ask you guys, after we did this, about
Well,
a special meeting
Okay.
before the next budget meeting on the 20th to,
So it's gonna be real quick.
Yeah,
Great.
it's-
We're not gonna, yeah. David.
You gotta see where I'm coming from.
I see.
oh,
what-
I see
yeah.
exactly where you're going from too, but
Yeah.
it's not like we're not gonna do the trenching.
No, I know you're gonna do the trenching.
And it's gonna, and the trenching decision is gonna be followed up very quickly, as soon as he gets the figures together.
How good are the bids for, how long? 30 days is for this one.
30 days.
As of April 16th.
You know, Bill, you can satisfy everybody, but.
Yeah. Why don't we do this? Rather than ask for a motion on this tonight, we've got the information, I'm hearing the sentiments. Why don't we come back at the special meeting? Dave, you want to explain what we're gonna do? We're gonna either before or after the budget meeting, we're gonna announce.
Before or after the budget meeting, we're gonna discuss the bids for the trenching.
So that we can, then, Craig, then we can satisfy your concern by having them both in front of us at the same meeting at the same time, even though they would be separate motions and awards. Correct, Dave, is that
Yeah.
structure correct?
When's the next budget meeting?
It would be Tuesday, the 20th.
Monday.
Or
Monday the 20th, Tuesday the 21st.
So it's right around the corner.
So,
Okay, I'll be late on that one, so maybe I won't even show up.
Well, then
You
we'll
guys
have
do
a
whatever you
motion
want.
on this one tonight.
We wanna do what we want, we want you to be here.
Yeah,
Well, I gotta work until 6 o'clock.
yeah, but you're raising all the issues. and you're
Well,
not
we
gonna-
can do it
I've got a problem with the whole thing without
Okay.
having the trenching.
I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You're
That's
You
why-
gotta have a complete project.
If you're not here, we'll make the decision for you, how's
All
that?
right on, I won't be here.
But we're not making the decision tonight,
Right.
so at least we'll see the trenching and, well, you'll be here later, but we'll see the trenching.
Dave, are you comfortable with that? Because,
oh, yeah.
Because we got a 30, all three were good for 30 days,
Yeah.
right?
and Craig wants to see them all bundled at once, not
I do.
necessarily. Yeah, that's.
And that's what we'll do on the 20th. Is that right, David?
We'll do that after the budget meeting?
Well, it's up
No,
to
We
us.
can do it
Same time.
we can do it after the budget
Yeah.
meeting. We can't do it at the same time.
We have one thing to settle at the
Yeah.
budget meeting, that should be,
Yeah,
that
that
should be
should be
quite
easy.
quick.
That should
Yeah,
be quick.
Yeah. So we'll do it right after the budget meeting.
Thank you.
That sounds good.
That's on the 20th.
Thank you.
Yeah, be here.
I'll be.
Oh, I'll be here.
Okay,
Yeah, you did the last one.
then the chair is not gonna ask for a motion on this. We're going to defer until, we're going to wait until our next special meeting to make a decision on this issue. And at that time, the information will be brought before you again.
Good.
Is that anything else on this issue, David? Let's see, well, there were two items,
Yeah,
Mose
we-
Walkway.
We got the bid for the Mose Walkway.
Okay,
We've only received one bid, and that's Oregon Marine Construction.
Yeah, where you at, Ryan?
It's right on the back side.
okay, let me find that, David.
What tab?
Right here, right
It's
behind
on
it.
tab 8,
Still
still right
Still
there.
on
Where's
eight.
the back
Just
of it?
behind what
Very
we're just
back,
looking at.
okay, I see the anchor there, okay.
Oregon Marine Construction.
0.
and
No,
they're
third page.
That's for
expensive.
our most walkway.
Keep going. One more, there you go. Wow. Well, it's under what we budgeted, isn't that?
Yeah, it's coming in under what we budgeted.
And we can award this tonight?
We can.
What's your recommendation?
This is the only,
I know.
And we have a history with these individuals, right? A reasonable history?
Have you got any issues with working with them?
I don't have any issues.
Who's gonna do the concrete?
They're doing the concrete.
They're doing it all, huh?
Yeah, they're doing the complete,
Only bid we got, huh?
the only bid we got.
I thought
But
there was
it-
some other guy around doing this stuff.
Somebody else did pick up a bid application, but they decided it was more than what they could.
This is for the walkway going from the parking lot into Mo's, right?
That's correct.
Man. Nothing we can do, I mean, this is just all new. Aluminum, looks like they're hauling it from someplace.
It's being manufactured in Seattle.
Oh, this is the one where you indicated that they've got they have to inspect that on a regular basis? I mean, while they're
During-
building it?
During the welding process, from what I've understood.
Well,
Are we ready to make a decision? Are we ready to have, anybody ready for a motion on this?
if our port manager recommends that this is good with him.
You guys all know what we budgeted for this project.
Okay, then we're under budget.
It's coming in under budget.
Okay, if we're gonna act tonight, I
It's
need a motion.
expensive.
It's not as
And that'll
expensive
be the
as we
same
thought
as-
it was gonna be.
The same as the west end, is the concrete abutments included?
Yep. Yeah, you looked at the abutment
Yeah.
down there. So yeah, they're including the abutment in here.
So they're gonna take care of it themselves, or whatever happens, happens.
They're doing everything.
Clarification before we do the motion, we don't have a bottom line total on my sheet, do we?
Go to number 3, page.
Number
well,
3,
no,
one
there's 3
58,
pages, Paul.
536.
There's 3 pages of that bid.
Okay, all right, okay.
When do they plan to start? And when do they plan to finish?
They won't be able to start till September 6th.
So this is in next year's budget.
And they're
Well, it's in
actually,
last year.
Well, it's in next year's now.
Now it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we transfer that? Oh.
project start date September 9th, project completion date October 7th.
90, right there in the first page. First page, right?
Okay,
Well,
so
I'm
the,
ready.
are we gonna, I make a
okay, so
motion,
the
we accept the
motion needs
bid.
to identify the party we're awarding and, I would think the bottom line figure.
I make a motion that we accept the bid from Morgan Marine Construction LLC, DBA Northwest Marine Supply, for a total of $158,536.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion on this issue? Call for the question, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Did you say
All commissioners present voted in favor. Okay, so where are we now, David? We're, okay, so,
Let's, on the special meeting for the 20th, we've decided we're gonna do that after the budget meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that way everybody can be here.
Yeah, the budget meeting there's only 2 items, I think, on there.
Only one, yeah.
Yeah, one.
yeah, one item to split that bottom figure into
Yeah.
unallocated
Want me, I
and
can quit
contingency.
earlier, so.
I'm just gonna, when I notice the special meeting,
So-
I'll just say 6 o'clock, but we can start it earlier if the budget meeting is
What time's the budget meeting start?
5:30.
Oh, okay.
And we're gonna be doing the electrical bid and trenching.
That's correct.
Clean my glasses.
And then, are you addressing the plumbing at the same time?
The plumbing, we're doing that ourselves.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
we've already got
So
materials coming, everything.
Okay, but it's gonna be in the same trench who's ever doing the trenching? Or are you gonna do your own trenching?
No, we're planning on having somebody doing the trenching. We're gonna do the sewer and water ourselves. but the trenches are gonna be dug for us. The trenches are gonna be dug for the electrician.
But gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
Okay, David, anything else on item 8 on the agenda?
no, I think that was it.
Okay, item 9, outside gear storage.
Oh, that was,
Says
Here.
Dooman, I don't
Yeah.
think
We
he's
probably
gonna
ought to
be.
wait till
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah,
The outside
He-
stuff.
Yeah, he wanted to.
okay, let's defer to, another meeting for that item. Okay, managers and commissioners report, any, Dave, you got anything additional to report at this point?
there was a dredge operations advisory committee meeting in Toledo yesterday. I was gonna attend, I was told that I really didn't need to be there, but I kind of got an update today.
Okay, you should have been there, huh?
No, they said there was no reason for me to be there. I was planning on it.
Okay.
But we're definitely first on the list for the dredge. I mean,
Good.
we do have it coming. There may be, a little bit more money than what we previous thought, more like 100,000 available to us on that. And they've discussed the price during that meeting, it being $10 to $12 per cubic yard. Other than that, I don't have a lot more information on the dredge itself, but they definitely talked about us, we're definitely on the list, and I think we're gonna be good on our budget number.
Do you have any time period, Dave, at all?
It's gonna be between November 15th and February 15th, the in the water work window.
So we just gotta figure out where we're gonna put it.
We'll put it right on top.
We do have a dredge spoils site plan already. There is an area to put it up on the dredge spoils site. We'll just have to do a little excavation work, but we have a site plan in place right now. There's most everything, as far as renewing our permit is done. I mean, there's a few things left to do, but we're there.
So we don't have to haul any dirt away in order to accommodate?
No, not the amount that, we figured through the amount that we've, decided that we need to dredge. No, there's no problem putting that amount there. The bathymetric survey, I don't remember the figure right offhand, but I think it's 11,000 cubic yards, and there's a lot of room up there for that amount.
Good.
Okay, now, you said in November, it's still down at Coos Bay, they're gonna come up there, are they, Coos Bay still using it?
Nobody's using it right now. Coos Bay operates it.
Right.
And
In
so-
Coos Bay, that's the reason we couldn't get it last year, remember we had, it was Arnie or whatever.
And so they'll bring it up here, how they,
We don't wanna do it in November, but
They-
it might be prime fishing time.
well, whenever,
Really, cause it's inside.
yeah. I don't know who decides on
That's what I
that.
was at.
It's just whenever they're available and ready, I think. If they say we're gonna come, November 15th, right, the day that the in the water work window, opens, we need to.
What is it
potentially
doing
be
right
ready.
now though?
It's not doing anything. It sits down at Coos Bay on a trailer.
Why can't we be working it right now?
It's the in the water work.
In the water
window.
work, yep.
And
Yeah,
we
can
don't.
just
and
go
we
to
don't-
ODFW.
You wanna get us
it
in trouble,
changed.
And
Craig?
we don't
No.
actually,
No,
we don't actually
it
have a
ends- it
permit in
ends.
place yet.
Oh, you don't have the permit?
We don't have a permit in place yet.
Few
We
details.
missed that last year, so we're replacing it, right?
Exactly.
We're pretty close to it though, right, Dave?
Yeah,
Cause we ran out of it last year.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Commissioners, any comments?
I have one thing to mention. We're doing the fireworks, and I've kind of gotten in the midst of reviewing some certificates from us, from other folks to us.
Okay.
And we did get good certificates of insurance with additional insured status from Western Display.
Good.
The only thing I think we're missing is I think the facility use agreement needs to be between us and the chamber, not us and the fireworks display company. That puts us further away from it.
I think Kelly sent that out to her.
You did, didn't you?
I did send it to Bettina.
And she's good with that.
I haven't heard a response yet,
Okay.
but
So I'm just kind of reporting that we're just that close to getting that wrapped up. I've talked to Mr. Murphy about it several times, and so he knows what we're doing, and he's on board with that. So if you get that, will you email it off to us?
yeah. I'll forward
Okay.
it.
We did hire a new employee now.
Okay.
He seems to be working out pretty good. His name's Craig Stewart.
Okay, good. Welcome, Craig.
Yeah.
Taking over.
Yeah, good.
Well, I attended my monthly meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, and I updated them on what we're attempting to do with the blue building and the C-Row, and in fact, we're trying to get full-service sites developed along the C-Row, and there were a couple of Chamber members that I invited them to come down and take a look at our completed C-Row, at least the riprap, and they reported back to me at the meeting how impressed they were with the facility. And I've also been able to attend one meeting of the Watershed Council. They had a meeting out at the yurt a week or two ago. Haven't had much interaction. They haven't needed any of my comments at this point, but I'm the ex officio representative to the Watershed Council and the Chamber. Any other Kelly or Dave, do we need anything else to address before we close this meeting?
Well, I had told you guys about 4th of July, I think, how that's gonna work because of C-Row being utilized for the
Yeah,
fireworks.
the parking lot out here.
And so we're
Yeah.
gonna use the actual parking lot to put them customers.
That's a quick, you gotta have the insurance.
Yeah, that's for the firework display.
So what are you gonna do about everybody pulls their trailers in here and
That's-
starts parking?
We're hoping we're gonna have some barricades, so, we'll see.
Good.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the commission? Okay, with that, if without objection, we are adjourned.
Thank you, good job, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, I just wonder where our Terry is. That's.
Oh.
I can't-